Welcome to Brush and Beyond, where we see the world through an artist's eyes and learn to express our own worlds. Hi everyone! Today we'll be doing our Modigliani-inspired self-portraits. The materials that you will need today are pencil, eraser, paintbrushes, water, acrylic paints in these colors, and a piece of watercolor paper. So first we're going to start with our sketch of our portrait. Modigliani is really famous for his long almond-shaped faces that are thin and his really long necks, which you just saw on the screen. And so this was kind of what my portrait looked like. But try and follow an image of Modigliani's portraits if you want to be true to his style. So now that my sketch is finished of the outside of the face, I go ahead and draw my eyebrows in. When you're drawing a self-portrait, you can pull up a mirror or an image of yourself to get an idea of what you look like, because although Modigliani's portraits are very stylistic, he also stays true to what the actual person looks like and tries to replicate the features on that person's face. So I decided that I didn't like the nose that I drew, and so I redid it, and that's why we start with pencil first so that we can change our sketches if we need to. So this is what my portrait looked like so far, just with the pencil outline. And then finally, I looked at a picture of a portrait and saw that his background is a lot of the time divided into two colors. So now I'm going to start painting. I started with the hair, and because he oftentimes uses watercolor, I really watered down my acrylic paint, but if you have watercolor, that's amazing as well. So I started painting that in with a dark brown, and I filled in everything, and also make sure to find a few other colors and shades of brown so that I could add some dimension or, a mix of colors into the hair. So once I filled that in, I took, like I said, a darker brown and mixed it in with the brown that I used before, added a lot of water so I could make it look like watercolor, and went in with that darker brown where there are areas of shadow in the hair. So again, this is when it's helpful to use a mirror or a picture of yourself and get an idea of where those shadows are on your head. When you're painting hair, try to make sure that your brush strokes go up and down like hair normally does, so that you can follow the pattern better. Now I took some black acrylic paint, added a lot of water, and did the same thing that I did with darker paint. When you're using a really dark color, number one, try to water it down as much as you can so that it's not too pigmented. And also use a light hand and try not to be too aggressive. So now that I finished the hair, I'm moving on to the face and the skin. So I just took a base color and watered it down again so that I could make it look like watercolor, and filled in the entire head and neck. When you're painting something with dimension, a lot of the time it's easier to start with a base color for all of it, and then you can go back in with a darker or lighter color to add shadows and highlights, which is what we'll do. So now that we finished the base color, I took some of the same brown that I used earlier and mixed it in with the skin color to make a shadow color. And this will be used for the darker parts on our neck and face, specifically under the chin and around the nose, and around the sides of the face. When you want to blend in a color, especially with acrylic or watercolor paint, it's really easy to just use more water, which can kind of just make the lines more subtle, which will look more like a shadow. Drawing faces is hard, so if you need a reference, again, it's great to look at a mirror or even just look at one of Modigliani's portraits to get an idea of where those shadows might be. This is what my portrait looks like so far, and next I take a darker red color and add a lot of water and also some of that base skin tone to make a pinkish color for my cheeks. Make sure that you really water this down because we don't want this to be a sharp line. We want it to be subtle and look more natural like the human face. So you can see here that I'm kind of adding it onto the cheek area, and even after watering it down this much, I still add even more water so that it doesn't look too intense. This is what your portrait should look like so far. Finally, I'm going to take some more of that dark red and I'm going to do the lips. So this is probably easiest with a smaller brush like I'm using right here. And just make sure to keep your hand light when you're painting so that you can get into those nooks and crannies. Okay, wonderful. So this is what I have so far, and now I'm going to work on some of the smaller details in the painting. So for the eyebrows and around the eyes, I did this with a brush, which you can try if you want, but another really easy way to do this is just taking a colored pencil or even a marker. And if you do that, just try and make sure that it matches the hair color that you have, or even just your natural eyebrow color. So for around the eyes, Modigliani doesn't really paint eyelashes or anything too intense. His eyes are actually known for being pretty small in his portraits and usually don't have any irises or pupils, which is that dot in the middle of your eye that you see. And so what I did was just kind of copy the way that he outlines his eyes a little bit. And now you can see that I'm taking a light blue, a really, really light blue, and I'm just using that to go into the center of the eye. You can see on the screen here that that's a lot of times what his portraits look like. But you can do this with any color inside. Sometimes he uses brown or gray if that person's eyes are darker. Okay, so last but not least on the portrait, I'm using a dark red, similar to the lip shade, to fill in the shirt, which you can do this with any color that you like, your favorite color. The colors that I chose for this painting are much more neutral and earthy, which just means that it's not as vibrant like, for example, pink or orange. Just because that is something that Modigliani does a lot, which is just use more neutral colors. Now I'm taking a navy blue and I'm going to start on the background. So I'm again using a brown to kind of balance that out and not make it too vibrant. And taking a lot of water, and I'm going to start spreading that out on the background. I use a lot of water here just to make sure that it's all covered, and also that you can get a gradient effect where it goes from darker to lighter from the outside to the center. And if you use too much water, you can always move it somewhere else that you need it. So you can see I'm filling in the rest of that, and I'm staying away from that other edge that I drew a line on because, like I said, one of Modigliani's portraits has a separating line where, another portion of the background has a different color. So for that, I'm mixing up some yellow, and this color that I'm making is called yellow ochre, which is a more brownish yellow, and it's not as, neon as the one that you see there. And so, again, I'm putting a lot of water and just putting that on the rest of the background. Okay, and the final thing that I do is try to make sure that none of the lines are too harsh. So I take some water and I just blend together that edge between the gray and the yellow ochre. And that is it for our Modigliani self-portrait. So this is similar to what your portrait should look like. Of course, it'll look different because it's a self-portrait of you. But thank you so much for joining us for another art activity, and make sure to stay tuned for more art history and activity videos. Thank you.